Welcome back to another installment of Income Store TV. I'm Dave Corbin. I'm honored to be your host. You know, here at Income Store, relationships is a way of life, and that's to their credit. And maybe that's one of the reasons, or perhaps the reason, why Income Store has been honored by Inc. magazine to be one of their Inc. 5,000 companies. I think something like 5 times already, but 5 times to make Inc. 5,000. You know what that means in the relative field of so many companies out there? So today we're going to dive a bit deeper into each of the 3 lanes of relationships: the internal relationships, teammates. Number 2 is our website consumers, people who are buying ideas and products from our websites. And number 3 is you, the site partners. And in this episode, we're going to be breaking down exactly what we mean by that. And so first, our internal customers. Now, these are internal relationships. How we communicate with one another, how we share and live our values as a company, and how we present ourselves to the rest of the world. And our second form of customers, so to speak, are the public at large, the people who buy our goods or ideas, on our websites. In fact, in today's segment, our panel is going to be discussing how the new technologies and data help us to create strong UX and UI to ensure a positive, and enjoyable experience for those who visit our websites. And our final category of customers, well, that's you, our esteemed site partners, making sure that we have clear communication with you. It's of utmost importance. In fact, that's why we even do this whole newsletter to begin with, to communicate, to share, to enlighten, and nurture our relationship.
My name is Carolyn Terabelli. I am the Client Communications Manager.
My name is Tracy Kelly.
Hello, my name is Courtni. I work within our client communications team.
My name is Matt Davis, and I'm a client communications specialist.
I love the inconsistency and daily surprises of my job.
I really enjoy my job because I get to work so closely with our partners and get to know them on a personal level and incorporate their passion and the things that they like into their websites.
One thing I like about my job is actually dealing with those site partners. I love being able to work on the sites and make a big impact on it, and then bring the good news. I love being able to bring them good news.
We are in the hospitality business. Business development, but more importantly, client communications, are ultimately responsible for the growth that we're experiencing today. Whether it's Carolyn, Tracy, Dave, Sherry, Matt, the conversations and the interactions that they have with site partners after the fact, that's what matters. At least that's what matters to me. Because when I can wax poetic about 65% of our site partners on their second contract within a year, that's less about me and all about them. Client communications has a tremendous task. They have to responsibly and accurately communicate the meaningful work from the operational acumen to the individuals that have entrusted us with their hard-earned dollars. We don't have the time for programmers, designers, developers, monetization specialists, and content people to communicate on a daily basis with the site partners. So we've been forced and responsible in building a client communications team that can understand the difficult language and communicate it in a palatable way so that everyone understands. Client communications is responsible, moreover than anyone, for our growth.
So to start us off, let's hear from Kerri and Ken. Let's get their take on the importance of building strong relationships and how that's played a huge role in building their business.
Okay, so sweetie, we were asked to talk a little bit about relationships. Not just relationships inside the company, but relationships going back all the way to March of 1992 when we decided to start this crazy business. So I'm actually going to let you go first. What do relationships in business mean to you, and how do they help us get here?
Well, way when we started, that's when we were very active in the Chamber of Commerce and Rotary Club. And at that time, I was the one who was mainly out and about because what we were doing was more construction-based, and so that would be Ken. And it was through the relationships of the Chamber that we actually were able to develop and grow and grow and grow. And some of those relationships actually lasted, many, many, many years. One in particular, his name was Wayne. But I really should let you explain Wayne, because we met Wayne before we even started our first company. We met Wayne when he was a patron at the local health club.
Yeah, sure. So in the early days, my degree is graphic design. And so I would work behind a counter of a health club, and people would give me their little card. I would hand them towels, and I'm somewhat of a friendly person. So I built a relationship with this older gentleman named Wayne, and we just started talking. And obviously it was clear to me, this is a very large business person in the Will County, Illinois area. And then all of a sudden, we decided to start a marketing company, and away we went. And along the way, we just found ourselves taking Wayne to lunch, peppering him with questions. He had no financial connection to us, but he was absolutely maybe one of our first mentors. And he started as a complete stranger in a health club. And, it was, I forgot about Wayne. He was probably the first incredible relationship we've ever had business-wise.
Well, do you remember when, so the university that we met at, he was actually on the board, we found out later. And when his wife passed, actually his wife passed right before we met him. So this was years in development. But if anyone ever sees me in a beautiful Fox jacket, it's pretty big, but it's Fox, it's gorgeous, or ever a picture of me in a beautiful white gown, his wife, he gifted me a lot of her things and took us to a lot of very nice events, so he would introduce us to the local business owners in the area, and that edified us. That actually helped us as a launching pad.
He just so wanted to help. He was amazing.
You look for people who are seasoned because they really want you. They're not going to be in business forever, and if they have this knowledge, what else are they going to give? And they hand the business down to their kids or whatever, but this is where all the data is. This is where all the wealth is. It's in the mind, and they just want someone else to learn from.
Yeah, Wayne told me one of the early on conversations I had with him. He said, "Do you know why I like talking to you and Kerri?" I said, "I have no idea." He goes, "Because you asked for my opinion." And I was like, I mean, it took me a long time to understand that, but think about how many seasoned business veterans there are that have just poured their life into a business or an enterprise, and then all of a sudden this young person, we were easily 4 decades younger than Wayne, comes up and just honors them by asking for their opinion of their seasoned business experience. And I have not stopped asking seasoned veterans their opinions since. So another thing that our team asked us to talk about today when it comes to relationships is, what were some of the relationships that helped us kind of launch 25, 30 years ago, but much more specific to where we are today. How do we form and then mature relationships kind of inside company walls, and then even maybe outside company walls a little bit? And I know you've got an interesting take on how we both communicate with our teams, so I'll throw it to you.
So I really, really, really love going to the office. We're in one state and the office is in another state. It's a great story unto its own. I don't know if I've probably another episode, but the most important thing, in fact, we've actually learned, is the closer that someone is to the client, the more knowledge they have. And so we as business owners or CEOs or whatever you want to call the stupid triangle, whatever it happens to be, you're further away from the actual client. If you really want to know what's going on, you really want to know whether or not some system is working right, because we have a theory of doing something or a system that we believe is right, but there's someone always who's the one applicating, who's doing the work. So whenever I go to the office, I love, and I always do, have meetings with people who are the closest I can get to the actual work. The people who are doing the work, because they tell me, yes, this is working, this isn't working. This is what we've discovered. And when they find something, they know that they can talk to a person of leadership who will say, oh, you discovered this. Is it good? Is it bad? How do we handle it? Do we do more? Do we do less? You're breaking that learning curve, and it's the learning curve in business where all the money and the time and the expense is. So if you can just go get the answers, and also the edification. I mean, these are the people working morning till evening, and they take ownership and pride of what they're doing. I mean, we are very blessed with the people that we have at the office. You know that, and I know that.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But there's where you're going to get your knowledge. There's where the loyalty is, and there's where the work is done. And it's never dismiss it because, you know, we go up this chain of command. And as we're learning more and more, the biggest and the most profitable businesses are the ones that listen and have that open line of communication, not this hierarchy, you've got to go to here, you've got to go to here, and you've got to go to here. Yeah, you want to go here and put your idea across, but you definitely want to make sure there's a free flow of information so that you can grow faster and more efficient.
Like Kerri and Ken shared, and massive data reveals building great relationship is the key to any strong, successful business. There's no doubt that face-to-face interactions are most desirable for deep, connections. But with regard to websites, we don't have that luxury. So how do we make that meaningful connection with suspects, prospects, and customers? That's part of the magic. Let's now sit down with Chuck Winkler, Maria Clark, and Reed Grotsky and learn how they use technology to build the bridges and create positive user experiences for our second category of customers, our website consumers. Let's check in now.
Hi, I'm Chuck Winkler, and today we're going to have a conversation about customer service and the customer journey. I'm here with Maria and Reed. I'm the e-commerce manager, so I deal with more on a people level. Maria, can you go into how you affect the customer journey?
Sure. So I'm Maria Clark. I am an email marketing manager here. And essentially what I do, I work on making email campaigns, and email campaigns directly come in contact with the customer. So it's important to ensure that each and every one represents the brand well, is to the point, gets the customer to engage with it so that they can come back and become a repeat customer, hopefully.
And so one of the parts that happens when we send emails out is that there's things to click on. And I'll bring this over to Reed, and he's gonna give his piece of the puzzle on how the linking of the email and pretty much the user experience happens on the website and some of the stuff that we don't see that enables the customer to get through either a purchase or a transaction as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Reed Grotsky. So I work in design and front-end development. So that basically means I deal with the front end of the website that the visitor will see when they navigate to it. So I do stuff, like Chuck said, that's behind the scenes that affects what goes on when you view a page. And we also want to make sure that things load quickly. Mm-hmm. That's definitely a big thing is before we can even get the opportunity to tell them what we're offering or try to get in touch with them through email or anything, if they can't even open the site or if it takes more than a few seconds, they're just going to go somewhere else. So we don't want to lose them there.
What do you think is a good load time and a load time that's going to make the customer say, I just don't have time to stay on the site and then go away?
Honestly, anything more than maybe 5 seconds or so, you're going to start to lose interest, maybe 10 seconds tops.
So with that being said, and I don't want to say obviously, but obviously we are optimizing the email campaigns for mobile as well.
Yes.
And if you could talk about how important it is for those email marketing campaigns to be optimized for mobile.
Sure. So over 50% of viewers or users in this case will open on mobile. So it's important to ensure that emails reflect the same brand standards, that they're easy to click on, calls to action are really large, especially if you're tapping with a finger so that the click area isn't small. It's also important to make sure that your images are rendering well so that they're not blurry, so that they're scaling correctly on the phone.
And Reed, with the user experience on mobile, how does that carry over to the user experience on the website or the store that they're on with what they see?
Yeah, I mean, it's you want to make sure that the buttons are larger, the text fields are easy, because a lot of times you're just going to be using your finger, you're using it on a small screen. So you want to make sure it's larger text, It's easy to scroll through. And once again, having repeated elements on the page, especially if it's a way to potentially get them to sign up or to become a customer.
Okay.
You want to give them more opportunities.
So for my piece of the puzzle, where I say I deal with people on a more people level and not so much a more tech level, we do have a customer service phone number on every one of our stores. So you really can pick up the phone and reach customer service. We help out with picking out if somebody has a question about a product, we'll research the specs for the product. And with all the new technology, it's not just a phone anymore. It's email. We get messages through Facebook and Instagram. We also monitor Facebook pages just to see what's being said about the different products. So we try to engage with the customer on a very human level, and the things that Maria and Reed do help their journey get through point A to point B as quickly as possible. And then on our side, the e-commerce especially, we're just making sure they get the product that they wanted in a timely fashion, and that they are overall satisfied. The way that our customer service works is that the customer is always right. I've seen a number of times where either myself or my customer service representatives have been able to turn around a customer's thought about the store. I think the best one is when somebody calls and is like, oh, I didn't actually expect to get anybody.
Right.
And then I think that initially can turn a bad, if you want to say, a bad experience into a good one, because they are talking to someone. We have access to saying like, okay, were you happy with this? Is there anything that we can do better? And again, when the email campaign goes back, and if we see a bunch of clicks on a customer, and as part of the email follow-ups that go out after they make a purchase, if they make another purchase, then we see that, okay, we've done something right in the fact that there's the click on. And if you could just go into a little more like how we monitor things, or how we're able to tell what's going on with email.
Sure. So every email campaign that deploys is tracked in terms of clicks, opens, purchases, conversions, what they purchased, etc. And that data actually helps us build other campaigns and optimize the ones we have. If we're seeing that, people are clicking more on the button at the top versus the one at the bottom, then that tells us that it's important to have more things in the top of the email. I mean, that's another just standard. If you're opening, especially on desktop, there's a certain portion of the email we call above the fold, essentially,
Yep.
where we want the most important information to be visible.
I think what we're seeing here is this is just a small piece of everything that goes into the customer experience. There's teams outside of what myself, Marie, and Reed take care of that make this journey even a more positive experience. With that being said, it's all about the customer.
Isn't it remarkable how good design, coupled with great customer relationships, inevitably impacts the value of your websites and, of course, your profits? Now, continuing where we left off in our last episode, you may recall our discussion of the company's core values. Well, today we're going to be hearing from another one of our team. Lauren D'Antonio is a member of our paid traffic team, and we'll hear more about that team in episode number 5. Lauren's integral when it comes to ads, promos, and offers that help attract and entice customers to return to our e-commerce websites. The core value she chose to discuss today? Compassion. Let's hear from Lauren.
My name is Lauren D'Antonio, and I am a paid traffic specialist at the Income Store. My day-to-day varies, whether I create Facebook ads, Google ads, utilize all information and report. It changes every single day. The core value that resonates most with me is compassion, because I believe it is very important, not only in your personal life, but in the business world as well. Just being able to put yourself in the shoes of others and try to think like they would think not only helps you with your personal interactions, but at least with my role, helps me understand how to put together ads in the best way that targets the correct audience. It helps us not be so judgmental of others, but be very understanding when others make mistakes, when they're less than perfect. Being able to extend grace to them and understand where they might be coming from leads to better interpersonal relationships, which then leads to a better work environment. Having compassion puts me in a certain frame of mind, whether that's site partners, customers. It helps me be able to see things more through their eyes. My name is Lauren D'Antonio, and the core value I try to embody most in my life is compassion.
As you could see, compassion is one of those core values that fits right in with what we've been talking about today in terms of customer relations and relationship building. And this brings us to our final category of customer, our site partners. Many of our site partners have shared in the past that one of the reasons they even began working with us is because of this openness, transparency, which in this day and age is too often overlooked. And they quite often mention appreciating the time spent engaging and collaborating with us. And today we have a very special conversation that's about to unfold between Courtni Fry, a project manager on our client communications team, while she's video conferencing with one of our site partners, Becky Gosky in North Carolina. The power of technology. Let's take a look.
Rolling.
Are there any pieces of hair out of place?
All of them.
Shut up.
Just kidding.
Hi guys, Courtni here with our communications department here at Income Store, and I'm welcoming you into my corner of the world here in our office. As you can see, I like to have a quiet space so that I can really connect with the partners and get to know them a little bit better without having all of the daily grind noise from other areas of our world here at Income Store. So today you're going to meet a really wonderful partner named Becky, and I'm going to give you an inside look into our calls and what we do. I'm going to go ahead and give her a call, so let's jump right in. Hi Becky, how are you today?
I'm great, Courtni. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Always so good to see you. This is a special meeting for us today. I kind of want to take a dive into our calls and what we do together. So on this month's call, instead of going over all of our data, I want to get to know you better as our partner. Your story is very interesting to me, and the passion that lies behind your love of animals. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Income Store.
Yes, I'm very grateful to be a part of Income Store's family. I basically loved animals and been a pet sitter from an early age, and I've instilled that love of animals into my kids, or they had it intuitively as well. And I was always pet sitting in our neighborhood for our neighbors. And so my son, who when he was 8, came to me and said, "Mom, I want to open up a doggy daycare, pet spa." So I looked into it, and it just did not have the ROI that I felt comfortable spending, and it was just a lot of a bigger project that I wanted to take on. So I said to him, well, why don't we compromise and start a little pet website? And that is what kind of created ProPetSupplies.com, as I found kind of a shell and bought it for a pretty economical price. And he and I kind of decided to try to work our way through it. After several years, it was just kind of hanging over my head like, oh, it's not up and running, no sales. I don't really know how to do it. By now, everything has changed on the internet. We kept pet sitting, but really that was just kind of a frustration that was kind of hanging out there. But I really wanted to start it for him because it's something I want to give to him. He's been a part of all my pet sitting businesses. So I was kind of just looking around one day, and I saw something about Income Store, and I thought, well, that's a catchy name. Let me just see what that's all about. And I thought, I wonder if I could propose to them that I just kind of give my website to them for them to manage. I didn't even know that was a thing at the time. And so I got on the phone with Bill and I just pleaded with him. I said, here's my story. I'm having a lot of frustration with getting it off the ground. I don't have the technical expertise. I can't evolve fast enough, but I want to do this for my son and with my son. And I want him to be proud of me for our accomplishment. And I want him to feel like he has a business that he can eventually take over. And so this was 3 or 4 years ago now. And Bill listened, and he was a very good listener. And he said, well, it's not usually something we do, but let me talk to Ken and the team and just kind of see if that's something we can take on. He came back to me and he said, I think we can help you out. We just kind of launched a partnership from there. They just kind of took over and helped me out so much. Every time I talk to you all, I try to tell you how grateful I am because it's going and running and doing great things. You all have evolved it so much and added graphics and added blog posts that are really, really high quality. And I'm just so proud of what it's become. And I can't wait for more. Now I say to Bill, okay, so when I have this much money, I can get another website. Is that right? Like, how can I keep going with this and build our future and build my retirement? And I just see so many possibilities coming from this one little website idea that they decided to take me under their wing.
You have a wonderful story. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, Becky, it's been so awesome talking to you today. Thank you for giving us a little inside view of how you got started with us, and I will talk to you soon.
Great. It was so nice to talk to you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and can't wait to talk to you again. Thank you.
Yes, we've covered a lot of ground on this episode as we sort of delineated and focused on our overarching attention to the 3 segments of relationship. Internal, which is the team, we talked about that. External, the marketplace, the prospects and buyers. And shall I say the hybrid, you, us, the site partner. And how we imbue our values over all of these relationships. And in our next episode, we're going to be taking a deeper look into how we attract and drive customers to the sites and how we turn digital clicks into data and real-life profit. It's all about online income. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Dave Corbin. Much love. Peace out.